Things that I really liked about it, especially when I first got into it, is that you get modules. So basically what happens in the, like, give you a very quick run through. So basically what happens, you get like an 8 week, it's like a checklist, and it's everything that you're going to need to do for 8 weeks in order to do things like find your first deal. 40, 60 cents on the dollar is usually where we buy. Won't dive too deep into that. You're going to start raising capital right away. So your very first week inside of the program, you start learning how to raise money. You assemble a team inside of those 8 weeks. You get your design going, you get your materials going, like all the stuff you have to do if you're going to go out there and say flip a house. And that stuff, how to do each of those steps is detailed very specifically inside of something else that you get that's basically like an online library of all these different tools. So that really explains everything that you're going to need to do. So what you do this on your own time too. So you don't do this in a classroom, you just pull it out on your own time. You watch some of the modules. For example, one of them is going to be like, for say something like hiring contractors. You're going to hire a contractor in the program because you're going to, of course, flip a house. You need contractors. So what happens is you pull out the modules. You'll watch a module about contractors. It's going to show you things like exactly where you're going to find the contractors. It's going to show you about how to screen them properly, what questions to make sure that you ask them. It's going to show you what documents you get them to provide for you, like all the real world stuff. And it's like a very tight system of how you should go about hiring a contractor. So you watch it on your own time a few times. You're not with the coach. The coach doesn't have to deal with all the shit. They're not teaching you nuts and bolts of investing. They're just giving you the homework. Yeah. On your own time at home, you can do this in your underwear in bed. You watch the stuff. Yeah. And then you maybe take some notes on it. Write down the questions, get familiar with the structure of that. Yeah. And then you just whip out your cell phone. You call Joe the contractor in real life, and then you ask him the real questions in real life, like you just saw in the module. And then you tell him this. You set a meeting with them, tell him to bring the documents, just like it said in the module. You do X, Y, Z, just like it says in the module. And then what happens is you actually go and meet this guy. You do a real life thing, so it's like a real life simulator. You're doing this for real. This isn't from a textbook. You're sitting there. You're probably nervous as fuck at first. Yeah. He probably thinks you're a little dumbass at first. He's probably looking at you like this little idiot doesn't even know anything about what we're doing here. Yeah. Like that is probably going to happen at some point because 100%. You're brand new. Yeah. So instead of just reading the theory in the textbook and saying I know how to do it now, go to the restaurant and see this guy in person and look him in the eyes and ask him these questions and then come back and report back, and I'm going to see how your week went. Yeah. And then you go back to the coach and you say, man, that guy laughed me right out of there, or it went really well, or I think I'm going to hire him, or whatever. Right. You don't really know until you get in front of him. Yeah. But that's the one thing that holds people back and prevents people from wanting to get in front of them is because it's uncomfortable. 100%. Just like you guys have said it earlier. So it's very uncomfortable. It's very new. Everything's brand new. And then what happens is you do all these steps. That's only one example. There's a whole list of things you do every single week that's just like that. So it's like real world stuff that you do. It's very practical. It's very hands-on. And then at the end of the deal or the end of your course, you actually make a whole bunch of cash as long as you did it properly. So again, like your report card, like you guys said, is it comes in the form of real money. Yeah. And then if you get spanked or if you get punched in the face, metaphorically, of course, like in this process, you're going to learn a ton. Mm-hmm. The next contractor you go see, you're going to approach it a little bit differently. Maybe you're going to regroup. You're going to talk to the coach about what happened, all these different things. Then you're going to go out there and you're going to do it again. Yeah. The coach is going to dust you off. Dust will probably go flying because you just got, sometimes you're going to run into some stuff that you didn't really like. One of the things that I found when I was first starting in the program is that I was doing realtor calls. Yeah. I was like in fucking Vancouver where there's so saturated. It's kind of difficult to get get discounts on houses because there's so many offers. Yeah. So there would be a property, let's say it was listed on the market for like $900,000. The formula that I had, I would need it at like $600,000. People were overpaying for the same house. Like there was like 7 offers on this house that would go for like $90,000 above the asking. And I was like trying to ask for like a $250,000 discount and just getting laughed around like crazy. Yeah. So that's something, I ended up figuring it out and I did a deal in Vancouver. But it's it's very interesting when you start doing a lot of that because you just learn a ton even if you get beat up a lot. And then that's where you really learn the lessons. Like if everything goes 100% smooth for you, like you're not really doing enough. Like you need to go out there, you need to take some L's, you need to like learn, you need to have the support, the stuff. So having the practical learning mixed in with the modules that you watch, like all that stuff put together as well, it's just a very solid way to learn, and it's real life experience. So that's why it is the school of the future. Because you actually go out there and you're actually doing stuff in real time.
Yeah.
And then you see the result. It's either negative or it's positive, but then there's adjustments to be made always, and then you just go back out there and do it again.
Yeah.
And then at some point you make a lot of fucking money.
Right.
And like we were discussing the other day too, like having an L happen, having some downsides happen and things, that's not even a bad thing because you don't know, you're not actually pushing the envelope of your ability unless you're putting yourself in a position where you can potentially fail or lose.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing wrong with that either. It's like, okay, well I learned that lesson, I'm not going to do that again, and at least I now have evidence that I am trying like to push the envelope of my abilities, right?
100%. Yeah, that's a super good point. If you're not taking losses, or like maybe not taking losses, but if you're not going out there and getting beat up a lot, like you're living so deep inside of your current realm, like your current comfort zone, that you don't really know what the boundaries are of that.
That's right.
Like if you're not reaching the boundaries of that, then there's really no way to grow. So what we're doing, and even if you're like, let's just say you have so much stuff going on, you're like getting burnt out and stuff like that, like that's kind of like where your boundaries are.
Yeah.
So if you're never hitting that, like you're just
You
not
build
doing enough.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Like you need to be tapping into your boundaries, and like just like if it was a circle drawn in front of you and you're right in the center and you're kind of walking around in like a small circle in the middle, if you're not touching that outer wall once in a while,
You don't know where it is.
like you have no clue where that is. Maybe it's way out. Maybe your potential is so far like outside of even your own like possibility, like the realm of your own possibility,
Yeah.
that you're not even getting close when you should be going way bigger, way faster, way longer.
That's right.
But like again, the comfort just keeps you in the center in your little shell.
Yeah.
So you need to test those boundaries, and you need to take those sometimes.